everyone, and welcome back to Radio Geonosis, where we talk about Star Wars from a certain point of view. I'm Angie.
I'm Aaron. What's up, guys?
And today our show is going to be all about Halloween and Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Aaron, you got your list ready?
I
got
do.
some fun stories?
I haven't dressed up in any Star Wars. I don't dress up for Halloween much, but my son is going to be Han Solo this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. But before we do that, we're going to be getting to the hot happenings this week. Now, you sent me a video. Now, that was... Yes.
Okay.
Okay, is it a game?
Yeah, that was from the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. They did like some animated shorts for the game, like to promote it, and that was one of them.
Doesn't that look like Rey?
It does, doesn't it?
And Obi-Wan in there. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. That was a crazy video, though.
Yeah, it was really cool. Well, this week I will be, on Saturday, I will be at the Fullerton Library from 10 to 1. We're doing a Star Wars event there. I'm going to remind everyone that Treats in the Streets will be on Thursday, the 25th, in the city of Orange. And then we also have LA Comic-Con coming up. Yes. Which is exciting this next weekend coming up.
Yeah.
I will be on Friday. I will be in Pasadena for a dance with handicapped kids, a Halloween dance, and then on Saturday, Saturday I'm going to be in Anaheim for a Halloween parade, which is really exciting. And exciting news: I am going to be on the panel, the Saber Guild panel, on Sunday morning. Yeah, they asked me this week, so I was really, really excited. So I'll be at LA Comic Con doing a panel at 10 o'clock in the morning. That means I'm probably going to have to stay down there Saturday night. Also, leaks from movie 9. I don't know if you've seen anything.
I saw a Palpatine leak somewhere.
What?
I saw that Palpatine's going to be a 9 somewhere. I saw it on Instagram.
The Palpies is making
I
it.
saw it on Instagram.
Do you think it's going to be like his ghost?
I think it might be a flashback, maybe. I think it might be a flashback to one last rule he wanted, or one last thing he wanted someone to pull out. I'm not sure.
Maybe they're going to tie the Snoke and the Palpatine maybe together. Because then, they did cut him in half, and it kind of ended everything.
It's looking like it's leaning toward getting questions answered, like how you wanted it.
Yes.
That's what 9 looks like it's going to kind of...
Yeah, J.J. Abrams have to come in there and clean it up.
Like he's leaning towards that, yeah. Listen, JJ, it's not me.
Yeah, it's a sweep it up. Okay, and they said it keeps pouring out online despite Lucasfilm's their effort to keep the film secret under wraps. And now, one of the newest reports describes a scene of Rey together with her family, which includes her brother and possibly even a child. What? This, according to reports, could be hers, which doesn't make a hill bean of sense.
No.
Because when would she have had time to do that? With who?
When did Anakin's mom have time?
Well, she had time during Clone Wars.
But wasn't she?
She was not pregnant in Clone Wars. She was pregnant in Revenge of the Sith. So when it was Attack of the Clones, they got married at the very end. So then they had time for doodly-doo during the cartoons.
For doodly-doo. We all know what that means.
Because she got pregnant.
Yeah.
So they had time for doodly-doo during the Clone Wars, but I don't think you can show that on the kids' cartoon
you can't.
channel.
So Rey's supposed to have a child.
Rey is supposedly.
That's what they're saying.
I don't know. I'd take that with a grain of salt.
I don't know. That's gonna be crazy how they if that's what happens, or
in the words of Snoke, we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic engineering for remake has been shut down by Lucasfilm.
Yes, it has.
The long-awaited is not to be. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know why.
It's because remastered games, like some games have, before they remaster a game, they do like a little poll and see who would really go out and spend not the $60, but the $39.99, and for
that sounds like a deal, man.
It's
a Walmart deal, $39.99.
Yeah, and I just think that Star Wars fans want a brand new IP, meaning a brand new, fresh game.
Maybe that's what they're working on.
Yeah, so maybe that's why they,
Maybe that's why you leaked that. You showed me what they had leaked.
Yeah.
You're gonna see something.
Because you might see, you might see something soon. Maybe they're cooking up something and they can't
in the
spread
lab.
out. Yeah, and they can't spread out the team, or they can't spread out the team that's making a game like that. They can't spread it too thin. So we'll see. Hopefully.
I think people really want to see Old Republic. They want to see, they want to see the time of the Jedi and the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have a big fight on Geonosis, but it's against droids. Yeah. So it's not against other highly trained
warriors, or
yes,
Jedi or Sith. Or,
yes.
Yeah.
So they want to see that. I'd like to see that. I mean,
too.
The videos you sent me was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, new photos from The Mandalorian reach back into an obscure Star Wars history. The official word is that The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the First Order.
And this is what Jon Favreau is going to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually released just a quote saying that Star Wars fans are going to be like really, really.
They already are just by the picture.
Yeah, the direction he's going in. He's letting the Star Wars fans know that.
Let's just say they have the right people in the right places now.
Yeah.
Instead of, I wanted to tell you something. We talked about the movies the last time. We talked about, how we felt about the two new movies, 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Or 8. I'm sorry, 7 and 8. I'm getting ahead. We talked about how we felt about those, and my friend Josh was telling me, a lot of people complained about 1, 2, and 3, and so maybe. What I don't even remember his name. The guy who did the newest one, The Last Jedi.
It was.
God, I can't remember his name. That's terrible. But what he said was because so many fans complained about how the movies were going, it's like as if he flipped the table up and said, you know what, let's just do a whole new thing.
Yeah.
And it turned out where fans didn't want that. They wanted the old thing.
They wanted the old thing. Yeah, and see, as a director, like I understand, like we talked about it too. We live in a social media driven world now, but as a director, since it's your art, you can't, or you have to try not to let other people, the masses, kind of interrupt what you have going on. And I feel kind of that's why Solo was so good, because Ron Howard doesn't. I don't even think he's on social media like that. He just released a few photos as far as through the company or the movie studio, but like he didn't let that change the way he made his movie. So
and the movie has sold really well, as far as yes, it has done really well.
And I kind of figured that too. After the first week numbers, I was like, it's gonna be more so of a gift movie as far as like Solo's on DVD hit. You know what I mean? So you can't let the fans, because you can't please everyone anyway. So it's unfortunate that he let it, which I understand too, because you want to please everybody, especially the Star Wars fans.
It just seemed like The Last Jedi was missing a lot of key elements, like the little bit of the goofy, a little bit of the the one-liners. It was missing the hope. It was missing a lot, where The Force Awakens really did tap into that, because if you even in the opening scene where the one man is talking to Kylo Ren and he goes, "Look how old you are," and he goes, "Well, something far worse has happened to you." I mean, this just that opening line, and even Poe's, quick,
witty responses.
Yeah, and you didn't see that in The Last Jedi, and I think that's what was missing, and hope was missing, because nobody was coming, and I mean that was like. Jeez Louise, man.
Because we're so used to someone being on there.
Yes, someone buy me a drink, man. I'm depressed. All right, so lastly, Mark Hamill is campaigning for Carrie Fisher's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Absolutely.
Which I hope they are able to do.
Absolutely. And it is unfortunate that, of course, God bless the dead. Condolences to friends and family. It's been a few years now. But it's unfortunate.
No, I think it's only been one.
It's only been 1 year since
you guys. We're coming up on it.
It's unfortunate that sometimes some people have to pass away for them to recognize.
Exactly.
They couldn't do it while she was here, but I mean, she definitely does deserve one for just playing a character that transcends.
Oh my gosh, an iconic character.
Iconic character.
And if you ever get a chance to watch the movie, the auditions. and to see how terrible everybody else was and how she
How
was
she
just
did it.
so perfect for this role. The minute she started reading for it, I was like, I can see why he picked her right away.
Yeah.
Because she presented herself as a princess. And I mean, it was really, really good. Terry Nunn was terrible. she was almost screaming.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And the script, and I can imagine, part of reading the script and it not wrapping around anyone else's head. Like, I don't think, it's almost like when Will Smith said that why he didn't become Neo, because the script was just like, I'm in this world, I'm not in this world. It was just too,
he couldn't get it. He couldn't wrap himself around it.
Yeah, so he did the Wild Wild West movie instead, and that totally bombed. so
I know, and the show is phenomenal.
What show?
Wild Wild
West.
Wild
Wild West.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He should have tapped into that character and watched the shows a little bit and tapped into it, because he was almost like a James Bondish kind of guy.
Yeah. I don't know what. I think they just wanted Will Smith to be the Will Smith who.
But he needed to be more like Jim West, and tap into that, so that you weren't watching Will Smith, you were watching Jim West.
Absolutely, I agree.
He is talented, and I loved him. He does a lot of really great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so today our show is about Star Wars and Halloween.
Yes.
And let me tell you, the Mos Eisley bar scene had a lot of ghouls in there. If you stop and look, a lot of ghouls, and it could have easily been slipped into Dusk to Dawn.
Yeah.
It was real ghoulish, because even there looked like there was even a devil guy in there.
Yeah, there is like a devil guy in there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is a creepy underworld character.
Devil guy, and people with like half faces, because the guy who said "You'll be dead," his face was.
And I think it's like an ode to the bar being a bar where the wrong guys go too.
It's obvious.
So you know what I mean. So it's like those ghoulish figures, those characters had to be in the Mos Eisley Cantina bar.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah, and it could have fit into a Halloween kind of movie, because it was a lot of ghoulish kind of characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, I brought my book again about the alien species, and you see really ghoulish people.
Yeah, can I
yes,
yeah.
He's gonna look through that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I did was I picked the top 10 Star Wars Halloween costumes.
Okay.
That are right now, that are popular right now. So number 1 is Rey.
The Rey costume is the most
Rey
popular costume.
Yes, number 1. Number 2 is Kylo Ren. Number 3, Luke Skywalker. Number 4, Princess Leia. But I think more of the Princess Leia with the white outfit, and not the slave Leia.
Not the slave.
Although that is a really popular.
That's what she's really,
costume.
Not what she's known for, but the slave costume is a real popular costume.
Yeah, it's very iconic. But you see that more at like the Star Wars Celebration kind of things. And then, look at that guy.
Yeah.
And then 5 is Finn, 6 is Poe, 7 is Han Solo, number 8 is Chewbacca, number 9, Darth Vader. I can't even believe he's way down there. Stormtroopers, number 10, Yoda, number 11, and my lord, Obi-Wan is number 12.
Oh, wow.
He is way down on the podium.
Is that disappointing?
It is very disappointing, because I love Obi-Wan. I posted a picture of me and a gentleman that I met, and I've met him twice. I met him at the Star Wars Celebration in 2015, and I was wearing that costume. Mm-hmm. And then I met him again at the Star Wars Celebration 2017. And when we were in Florida, and I was wearing that costume again. I was wearing Ahsoka.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, it was Ahsoka Tano twice. And I ran into him again, but I can't remember which in that picture, if I was in Florida or if I was in California.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
I think that list. I've seen a lot of people, of course, dressed up as Kylo Ren. Darth Vader is all the way at 9. You said
he's all the way down at 9. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
I wonder. Well, the thing about the Kylo Ren costume is too. Like I think with Star Wars Episode 7, obviously. The time period it's come out, Kylo Ren did leave like a huge impression on.
Yeah, I think we're pertaining this to kids.
Yeah, exactly. The first half of that list is
kids.
definitely
kids
pertain to the first three.
The little kids, not the big kids.
So the first three like to pertain more to the little kids, because even as a kid growing up, I knew who Luke Skywalker was before I saw because you hear whispers and just Star Wars is everywhere. So yeah, the first three for sure are for the kids, and then after all that is maybe the purest after that. Finn is pretty much a jacket. Like I said, my son's gonna be Han Solo.
Is he so excited?
He is. So I'm gonna be grabbing the costume from Target, I believe, on Saturday.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's like rushing to every Target.
That's why I had to wait. That's exactly why I had to wait to Saturday, because they were getting more on Saturday, and due to that's probably a test to the movie coming out on DVD getting popular, and then the kids wanting to play Han Solo. So
So the people who say that the movie wasn't very good, but I don't hear very many people say that.
No, I hear people love the movie.
Yeah,
the movie.
I have not heard any bad things about it, so that's good.
No, and then we're going to be doing a green screen thing with my son in his costume. Too.
Yeah, you better post it because I want to see that.
Yeah, and so he can have it too when he gets older and sees like what lengths I went to.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you're good, Papa.
But my thing, I didn't necessarily have a top list of what the costumes are. I had more so of a list of like who I would, because I haven't dressed up as. Growing up, it's not that we didn't celebrate Halloween. It was just that I wasn't too into the dressing. You were
not. You were still in the closet.
Yeah, one year I was Aladdin, the other year I was like the Green Ranger. But other than that, that was it. But if I was to dress up as a character, it would more likely be Darth Vader.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
One would be Darth Vader.
You've already done that because we took a picture together. And
we did. I had a Darth Vader mask on too. And I agree with Kylo Ren being number 2 on that list, because I definitely would want a Kylo Ren costume. 3 would have to be Luke Skywalker's black outfit. We did a costume episode.
Yes.
That black outfit with the green lights, I would definitely.
Yeah, that was really.
Like a suit.
Yes.
Whatever, like however it was tailored for him.
It was almost like a, oh my gosh, what was it? The man with the mask, a Zorro.
Like Zorro, like a
almost
Zorro.
Like a Zorro kind
of. The neck was really high and crisp, and it was tailored really,
It was nice.
It was nice. It was really, and it's crazy.
And the shiny boots.
Yeah, the shiny, the shiny boots. Like that would definitely be like number 3 for me.
Yeah.
And then pretty much 4, 5, 6 would be the traditional Jedi attire. Would be Mace Windu's outfit. Especially after looking at the book and seeing the detail in his outfit, Obi-Wan's outfit, Anakin's Anakin with the scar on his face.
Yes, that's episode 3.
That outfit is.
Yeah, because it was really nice. It was almost like leather. I really liked that.
I like the shoulders on it too.
Yeah.
It reminded me of something like maybe like Vegeta on Dragon Ball Z would wear, like if he was living on Prince Vegeta still, living on Planet Vegeta still, and looking at the list, Yoda. We looked at Yoda's costume.
Yoda would be something for little kids. You would see little kids wearing that. Remember in E.T. there was a Yoda?
Yeah. But a Poe Dameron costume would be awesome, just because.
Yeah, I love that. It's actually not as orange as
everyone else's.
Yeah, as A New Hope.
Yeah.
And all of those episode would be 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. It's actually darker. It's like a burnt orange.
Do you think that's just?
No,
just
I think it's
because of his ranking. You think?
No. All of them are wearing that color.
Okay.
They're actually darker in The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They're darker. So I mean, I love that color. If I was to do it, I would do that color because it actually really complements them. Mm-hmm. The orange was all right, but that color actually complements him.
And it complements the X-wing too.
Yeah,
if you think about
it really does.
The X-wing that they're flying, and then also like a Finn costume would be awesome because of Finn's already popular jacket.
Yeah.
The jacket with I believe it's like the red on top of the shoulders.
Right, but it was actually Poe's jacket.
It was actually Poe's that
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But he only had his stormtrooper.
That's all he had on. he just had the stormtrooper and then the underneath where this is just all black at
the Under Armour stuff.
But that's what I would if I had an opportunity to dress up as a Star Wars character, though, that would be my list to do so. But I do want to one day, maybe by next year's Comic-Con, have a costume. I was talking to this about my buddy Alex too, who will be there also on Sunday, about going through getting a costume made to even gets approved by the Saber Guild.
Or Rebel Legion, because Rebel Legion,
yeah.
you wouldn't have to do any shows. You could actually just troop.
Okay, not even have to worry about
doing choreographed shows. Yeah.
But wouldn't you get that bug anyway to just want to?
People are starting to. Believe it or not, I went to an event on Saturday night, and it was with Rebel Legion, 501st, Saber Guild, and Droid Builders, and Mandalorian Mercs. I want to make sure I get that in there.
Okay.
And there was about 60 of us there, and people were working on costumes and stuff. And they said that, they actually gave us a really nice compliment. One of the guys that is now leading the Rebel Legion, he said that our costume standards are really, really nice. And I mean, and it's high because you have to be movie accurate.
Yeah.
And anybody can learn to fight. Anybody. You can. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And it took me a little bit of a time, close to 6 months, to really get it down and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And it just takes that time and practice. But if you're not comfortable doing that, you can join just a troop. You don't have to do a show. Yeah. But after a while, you're going to want to, because some of those folks were talking about doing it. So they were talking about, hey, we want to learn.
Yeah.
And some of them have actually started coming to practice. So we have a couple of people from Rebel Legion, a couple of people from the Mandos coming, and a couple of people from, just the Rebel Legion and the Mandos. They're actually coming. We've had a couple of 501st guys too.
That come by.
That want to learn to fight.
Oh, okay. Because the 501st, they're more so a troop.
Yes.
They don't do any choreographed
No, we're
scenes.
the only ones that do it. Saber Guild is the only one approved to do it.
I do think, and of course they would probably slap me in the face if I said it in front of them, but I think it would be dope if the 501st Legion did actually do collab shows with you guys.
Well, it's kind of hard because the characters that they have.
Yeah,
they carry blasters.
They carry blasters too. Yeah, so that would be.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
very few of them carry. You have to be a specific Sith Lord in order to be in the 501st.
Okay.
And that would be like Lord Vader or Malgus.
Malgus.
Yeah, or you'd have to be one of those, Kylo Ren, in order for you to even have a saber in hand. Because unless you're a newer stormtrooper where they have the vibro blade, but I haven't seen too many people with that.
You haven't seen? I was gonna ask that.
No, I don't think I've seen anybody with that.
Oh, okay. So is that not allowed, or it just hasn't been?
I just think people haven't done it.
Okay.
Because there still wouldn't even, all he was doing was swinging it. We never even saw if he fought with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't even know the fighting style in the first place.
You wouldn't know what to do.
I imagine just being wild. I don't see it being, because you're not going to be as skilled or as trained as a Jedi when it comes to,
because you were never taught.
You were never taught, exactly.
Right.
It's kind of just a wild. I think that's why it swings everywhere in the first place. Why it's so.
Yeah, he got blown out of the water real quick too. He took a couple of swings at Finn, and then that was it, man.
Yeah, and Finn at the same time isn't a skilled Jedi either. So.
But oddly enough, he knew to hold it in his hand in a specific way.
Yeah.
So there's much to be said about who Finn is.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't even explain why he comes out of it. It's almost like they're in a trance, and he comes out of it by the blood going across his helmet.
Yeah.
So and he picks this up and is able to fight with it. And you notice that there's not too many just regular people that can do that.
That could pick up a lightsaber and already know kind of what to do.
Right.
So that's true. We don't know how Finn just has that intuition to just hold a lightsaber like that.
Yeah, because Rey was more of a, she was out in the desert. She had to fight with her stick. So she had a general idea of it. But Finn, no.
And in episode 8, I think they were making a reference to Rey being kind of a natural, especially with that scene with her, just holding it in her hand and okay. And then when it was a rock right there, she cut the rock in half and it fell on.
Right.
I think they were making reference to her being a kind of a natural at that, because we only seen her fight Kylo Ren before that with the lightsaber.
Right.
And I was more so like the rage and aggression of Finn
Right.
getting cut. More so than this one actually seeing her skill,
Yeah, because he fought with it in that movie too.
Yeah.
In A Force Awakens, he fought with it, and then he doesn't do it in The Last Jedi.
Not The Last Jedi.
He does it in The Force Awakens. Yeah, that's really. Well, we'll see.
What are some of your favorite costumes?
Oh my gosh. I have to say that Darth Vader is, when I first saw that, I was like, wow. But for me, it's more of Duchess Satine. Mm-hmm. That's a dream costume to me.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, I would love that. And then the bounty hunter,
the
purple bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. I would like to do that. I would like to do like a Padme kind of dress. I'm more of I like the real fancy stuff.
Yeah.
But I have done quite a few. I've done a Sith. I've done a Jedi. I've done the Night Sister. I did Ahsoka Tano. I've done Barriss Offee. Yeah, so I've done these different costumes, and so
And your Night Sister costume made a blog too, didn't it?
Yes, it actually got on some costume thing. So it was cool.
Yeah. So as far as when you got your first costume approved by the Saber Guild, was it your?
It was my Jedi, yeah. Yeah.
And how did that feel when it...
Oh my God. I'm coming up on my anniversary. Believe it or not, I still have the paper I printed out that says you are now approved.
Oh, wow.
I still have that.
Oh,
so
wow.
In December 23rd, 2015.
So 2 days before Christmas.
2 days before Christmas.
So
it was
Christmas
the best
present.
gift ever. So I'm coming up on 4 years.
Yeah. So, I definitely would want to get one. Like I said, talking to my friend Alex, like that's something I definitely want to do one day.
It is the best. You put that on and you feel like you're king of the world.
Yeah.
It really was. It really is. Still is such a high. I put that on and I walk out and the kids just like their eyes just light up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it worth it. And I think that's why kids at Halloween wanted to be these characters. They wanted to feel like that.
Absolutely.
And you remember we talked about costumes, and we talked about how George Lucas did the first 3 movies. He made these costumes kind of something that you could pull out of the closet.
Yeah.
And it's going to go to my story that I wrote, but it's something that you could have just gone to the closet, get a vest, get this, that, and you all of a sudden you're Han Solo.
Yeah, kind of just put it together.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something pretty basic.
And I think that's what made, other than Star Wars being an awesome movie and an awesome franchise, the costumes.
Yes.
And we alluded to that on
the familiarity, how it's familiar.
Yeah, exactly. How it's like familiar in the sense of, let me go to my closet and see if I could
whip it up.
If I could just whip it up real fast and just go out and go see the movie or go, you know what I mean? So I think that's also one of the reasons why Star Wars, finds itself attached to so many, is because of the mystique of the costumes, of the outfits too. Yeah, and the way it is something that you could pull out of the closet, but yet when you put it on and you put it together that way, all of a sudden, oh, that's Star Wars. Yeah. Everyone knows. Everyone knows right then and there, and so that's kind of cool. But I came across this story. It says the Great Star Wars Halloween Costume Shortage in 1977. Oh, wow. So not only did they have a shortage of toys that Christmas, that we spoke about too. Yes, they have the shortage of costumes. Yeah, so as you know, October is the time when aisles in the front of the store are filled with Halloween costumes, right? Mm-hmm. And decorations and candy. But back in 1977, Star Wars was as popular as it is today with kids. It is really, really popular. Yeah. And kids want to dress like those characters, and they still do. They wanted to back in 1977. And I think, it's not only kids, it's adults. Oh, yeah, adults for sure. Yeah, back then I think it was more kids. Now it's just kids and adults. Yeah. Yeah. So I just said I want one. Yeah. There was a man that Mark showed me on, he follows Speedway, and it's motorcycle racing from England. I can't even describe it. It's the bikes pulled to the side, they go in like a big oval. Oh, yeah. Well, the guy who won it this year,
his Halloween costume was a stormtrooper last year.
Oh, wow.
And he is from England. So, I mean, it is still,
Yeah.
you know, kids of all ages and all walks. Everybody loves Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, and you're familiar with it. So I think it was kind of cool that, you know, when you see this big time speedway racer in a stormtrooper costume.
That just says it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That attests to Star Wars itself.
Yes. You don't have to be a nerd because a lot of us have that in us.
Yeah. You just have it.
It's a gene in us. In all of us.
In all of us.
And I don't care who you are. You mean you could be a meathead at the gym and you still
go
home and read you read your comic books.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you just hide it.
Yeah.
But not us. We came out of the closet.
Yeah, we're out. We're let the world know.
But there was a man named Ben Cooper, and a lot of people don't know who he is, and I didn't know who he was until I read the story. Now, Ben Cooper was a man who started a costume business in Brooklyn. He was the first licensee of Star Wars costumes in 1977, and they should have had an indication of when they ran out of costumes back in 1977 that they were going to run out of toys at Christmas time, but I don't think people put two and two together.
Yeah.
They had success with the Planet of the Apes, so they did Planet of the Apes cartoons. Costumes, and I loved Planet of the Apes when I was a kid.
Yeah.
All three movies. I watched the Planet of the Apes all the time on a Saturday afternoon. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. My husband thinks it's weird. I mean.
Oh, does he?
He doesn't like those movies. I do. This man took a chance with Star Wars, and it was a smart move for him. And according to the article, the first attempts were uncomfortable, possibly toxic, and artistically suspect. That means that they were really kind of strange-looking costumes. And just like Kenner, Ben's company could not have guessed how popular Star Wars would have been. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like you said, they just couldn't put two and two together.
No,
They did not see it coming.
And there was no social media back then. So let me tell you, you winged it.
Yeah,
you know, but nobody was paying attention. The right hand wasn't seeing what the left hand was doing. Yeah. So these costumes were flying off the shelves so fast that the Associated Press ran a story about it late in October that year. And the story was repeated all over the country that stores were running out of costumes. And they were selling more Star Wars costumes, according to these articles, than pumpkins.
Really?
Yeah. Possibly more than candy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And so since the stores were running out, kids took to the closets to find whatever they needed to make a Star Wars Halloween costume because their love for Star Wars and their love for the characters. And could this have been, you think, the birth of cosplay?
I think that's why Star Wars is so big. I think Star Wars just became a phenomenon, maybe one of the first phenomenons ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it transcended to where people are like, it's what cosplay is. This is what this sounds like.
Yes.
It sounds like the birth of cosplay.
It could have been. Now, someone said no. Somebody was telling me that it was more Batman, a guy who wore a Batman costume.
Because I could believe that as well, because Batman was older. Came out first in the 30s.
But this was speaking to kids. Yeah, Superman. But I just think, where you would see with Batman and Superman, you're going to see more kids wearing the plastic costumes where people took to the closets.
And constructed and made.
Yes.
Exactly. I see exactly. Yeah, because you can't just go to the closet and make a Batman costume.
No, you can't.
You can't. But as far as like how layered and different Star Wars is, absolutely.
Especially with the first 3 movies. And George is a very, very smart man. There was another guy. His name is Jeremy McGrath, and he is a motorcycle racer.
I know.
Yes, you know who Jeremy McGrath is. But he was the birth of when you see all of the Nitro Circus and all those tricks. Yeah. It was Jeremy's knack.
The knack.
Yes, the knack that really, really shot everything into the stratosphere.
Yeah, he was sideways in the air.
Yes, he's the king of Supercross. He brought Supercross glamour and glitz.
To the forefront.
Yes, and he also brought those tricks, and after that you saw people doing the heel clicker and all of these other tricks, but the knack was
the knack, the can.
Yes, it all came into the forefront because of Jeremy. The same thing here with George Lucas. Yeah. He really did he was really smart in how he made the movie,
Mm-hmm.
how he wrote the movies, how he gave it that funny quip,
Yes.
but gave it still a sci-fi end of it.
Mm-hmm.
He dressed the people in certain costumes that people felt familiar with.
Yeah,
And I think that just really sent this to the moon, literally.
That makes George Lucas a genius because
He is.
Because it all came from his brain. It all came
Yes.
from his mind, but for it to be so relatable around the world,
Yes.
just is a true testament to like him probably just tapping in, knowing what the world wanted. I don't know what he was smoking. I don't know what he was smoking, but
I think he spent so much time in the movie theaters taking notes.
Yeah,
Taking
absolutely.
notes, and
Absolutely.
different movies. Because you don't see that with Star Trek. And I mean, I know there are Star Trek fans out there, and I like Star Trek too.
Yeah.
But it was so sci-fi that I don't think kids related to it.
Yeah.
But Star Wars, kids automatically related to it.
And I think what Star Wars, like how you said, how in episode 8, Mr. Hope, kids don't know it as hope, but like kids are like hopeful. Kids are hopeful. Like they're hope. You can't have that, right? But there's hope still. Like I might get it. I might get to eat that candy tomorrow.
Yes.
And so I think with the kids, Star Wars like it gives you, and every kid wants to be the hero.
Yes.
Star Trek, you have Captain Kirk, and you have you have your characters on there, but with Star Wars, there's multiple personalities
and relatable
and relatable too.
Yeah.
And that's what you gotta keep in mind is could you relate to the
Yes.
when you leave the theater, say, wow, man, I really relate with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I understand why he did it or why he didn't do that. And I think,
Yes.
I don't want any Trekkies out there to like gun for me, like, but I think that's just.
But it is. It is.
Yeah, and sometimes you could be too sci-fi. Sometimes you can be like to where you kind of lose like an audience to where like how Star Wars came and it's Star Wars.
Yes.
Star Trek.
It was
there's just no doubt about that. Star Wars is bigger than Star Trek. You can't even argue. No Trekkie could come argue that because it's not true.
But you see, when you go to a Trek convention, you see adults. You don't see a lot of kids.
No, you don't.
You'll see some kids, but not a lot. You go to Star Wars Celebration, it is everybody.
It's everyone. So
it's kids, babies, everybody.
Yeah, people groom their kids ready.
Exactly.
I'm one of those like when my son was little, like when my son was 1, that's when Force Awakens came out. So that was his favorite movie for 2 years. That's all we were watching nonstop. Then the Rogue One came out. So there's people who grow up were like, you're gonna like Star Wars.
Yes.
I don't care what it is.
But it's relatable for kids. Whereas Star Trek, it's so sci-fi. It is really on the more of the sci-fi side.
It is. Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
The science fiction and more of the. I think it speaks to people who are like of a higher, almost like a higher intelligence. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that.
No, I know what you're saying though, especially with a character like Spock who was so intelligent. Not saying their characters in Star Wars are dumbed down now. Obviously, they're intelligent, but I know what you're saying. The level of sci-fi with Star Trek
was way up there.
It's really, really up there. Deep Space Nine.
Yes.
The whole intro to Star Trek is like. It's
a kid could get bored watching that.
And with Star Wars, and I can speak for myself being a kid when I saw the remastered one that came into theaters. With me, it's with a kid you always dream of outer space. You want to know what it's like up there as a kid. Star Wars just like it kind of
you were there,
and it kind of gives you hope as far as like maybe space is like this. With Star Trek. It was, you just went
on those missions, and you were like, "Oh my gosh!"
And those missions sometimes were very, very boring.
They're
really dull, just checking water pressure or something like that. But with Star Wars, I remember being a kid in the theater, and it was those words scrolling down, and me asking my dad like, "What is?" Shh, just watch. You know what I mean? And then it's just you just see the stars, and it's one big ship. And
yes.
Like, oh,
it's very swashbuckler.
Yeah,
it's very.
And it adds to the. Keep it in mind too. It adds to your kid with your big drink and your popcorn, just like what is, you know what I mean? And
I know.
Yeah, that's what Star Wars for me. Being a kid.
You're not alone. That's why. That's why there's millions of fans.
You know what I mean? So I think what George Lucas did, he, like you said, he was in the theaters probably. He did his road work. He did his
Yes.
research, and was like, what's missing from movie theater? What is missing from film today? It's action, it's love, it's he gave everyone at that time all that in one, so everyone
Yes.
couldn't help but to like it's a
Yes, he watched those sci-fi and he said, well, how can I turn this around and make it so that kids are not going to be bored? And he sat down and wrote it.
And you know, I remember watching a documentary on the History Channel one day. They were doing like a superhero weekend, like with Star Wars, Superman. They were doing like a whole science breakdown of how this works and that works, and it was really, you know, George Lucas, like to this day, he like it's his infatuation with the Matronics, the making the animals look real. I think it's animatronics, right? Basically like robots. Basically.
Yes, animatronics.
Animatronics, yeah. And that's what tripped everyone out. Is like, what's going on? Like,
yes,
that looks real.
We could be on this planet with him.
Exactly. So I think with that also gets the kids' attention, because kids they like looking at stuff, whether it scares them or not. It's like you cut it out, but you kind of look,
yes,
like, you know what I mean?
The ghoulish scene.
So he probably understood that too. You know what I mean? As far as like, I have to push cinematography forward another 20 years.
Yes.
Right now.
Because when you watch like Star Trek, you don't picture yourself on the ship. And I mean, some people did, but I mean more so kids, you didn't picture yourself. You were watching it.
You were watching it, yeah.
But with Star Wars, you were in it.
You were in it.
You were there.
And that takes a special, you know, other than special person, a special team.
Yeah.
Special cast.
Yes.
The people in the background that don't get to shine, maybe like just, of course, George Lucas, he created this stuff, but like the people who are doing animatronics, are doing the makeup and the wardrobe and stuff like that, because that's, you know, we get immersed in this world of Star Wars that Star Wars has its own day.
Yes.
That's how, you know, you got to really understand, like, Star Wars has its own day because...
And its own convention.
Millions, billions of people around the world.
Yeah.
And what made all of us have one thing in common. That's crazy to me.
That we all have this love for it.
Have this help, you know, this undeniable...
And it's a camaraderie with all of us, because being at that party was, you know, it's a camaraderie. Even though we're all from different groups, we were there because we all love Star Wars. Yeah. You know, and the people that I have met from Star Wars this last 4 years has been, coming up on 4 years, has been something I can't even tell you, Aaron. It has been the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. I mean, I did not, you know, I didn't grow up with a lot of fancy schmancy or hung out with the, you know, with the high school, you know, popular kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, this 4 years, it has just been, I can't even tell you how many adventures I've been on, how many different things, how many different troops I've done, and how many people I've met from all over the place, all over the world.
All over the world.
I have friends in Peru now.
Yeah.
Because of Star Wars.
Because of Star Wars.
Yes.
And that's what I think about, is like, how do us as human beings, like, I think it's a little deeper, but like I said, like, how do us human beings, different walks of the earth, different upbringings,
everything,
different ways, different religions, but how did this one man, you know, and his team of people create this world to where it's like, there's a day, there's conventions, there's
groups,
that's so, because there's been sci-fi movies and movies in general that have come out over the years, of course,
but nothing like this.
And you gotta kind of scratch your head. I was literally just itching my head right now, but like how did it? What connected? What was it that connected?
The familiarity, how it's familiar to people, how it touches everybody, and how it makes you feel. Yeah. You know, and that, like I said, the hope. The hope is what I think every one of us have in us, and why we love Star Wars so much. You know, because of the story itself, and in the books. You know, like I said, Mark is on 80 plus books now. I am 2 books away, Aaron. 2 books away from having everything in that one book in the chronological order. Even though they no longer count I'm that close to having all of those books, and it has been a labor of love just in the last year and a half to get them all.
Yeah.
And how I mean, I could tell you adventures on how I even got those books.
Yeah. So, and like you said, the last 4
Almost
years,
4 years, yes.
It's all due to Star Wars. Just
Yes.
making this podcast, getting out of a shell or a comfort zone, what have you.
Yeah, and you're so right about that.
Yeah, myself included too. I never thought like I would have or be a part of a podcast that had to do with my love for something that, like, my dad just took me to the movies because he liked it.
Yeah.
I could easily not have liked it. You know what I mean? Before
it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard not to like too. But for him to be like, out of my, I have 2 other siblings. He knew to bring me there, so that he didn't take them. That's what I mean. For him to even like have 2 other kids. I know
he'll like this.
You know what I mean? I have 2 other kids, but I know to take Aaron to see this.
Yeah.
That says not really a testament to, it's a testament to Star Wars. He knew that I would appreciate at that age too this movie.
Yeah.
And I did. I had that big old pocket of popcorn, my legs dangling in the seat, just missing my mouth with popcorn. Like, it's crazy that Star Wars, and that passage you read, that does sound like the birth of cosplay to me.
Yeah, it could possibly have been. Like I said, I don't know. I think it was my son Bill and I were talking about that. And, my kids, I have to say that I really, even my oldest son Frank, I bought him, he went with me to see Empire Strikes Back because he was little, and then he went with me to see the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He was not born for Star Wars, the original New Hope.
Gotcha.
But after that, because I had him at 16, unfortunately, don't do that. Don't have a child at 16. But I had him at 16, and so I have the original book.
Yeah.
That. But he was more of a He-Man fan. But I always wanted to keep my kids a little nerdy.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
had that in me, and so my kids loved. They watched the Clone Wars, and they watched when they were little. They watched a lot of like SpongeBob and stuff like that. And they, I had them. They played Halo, and because I always wanted them to be in touch with that. Because one of my kids like skateboarding, the other one like motocross. My daughter, I'm not sure what exactly she was like my boho. She would wear all these strange clothes. She'd wear like a striped top with flowers.
For sure.
Oh my God! Yeah. And she's still like that today. She's still like that. But she, all of them have actually gotten into Star Wars in costumes. That my daughter was Barra Sophie.
Yeah,
she did that for me. Mm-hmm. And then my son was Anakin. I even got Mark in an Obi-Wan Kenobi costume.
Oh, wow.
I only have one picture.
Oh, really?
Yes. I've never posted it.
You don't think he would do it again?
No.
He's like, no.
He would never put on another costume. I had to promise him he could buy a motorcycle.
Oh, and if you did it? Oh, wow. Way to go, Mark.
Yeah, he really pushed the envelope.
A part of me feels like having a nerdy side to you.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think it sparks. You get in touch with yourself as far as knowing what you do, like how far you're willing, how far.
I don't care what people think. I used to worry about that, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, it doesn't. Nowadays we all know it doesn't even matter.
No.
You're actually not cool
if you're not
there. You know what I mean? So I also think it kind of sparks a creative side too. I think opening yourself to these brand new worlds that are fantasy, that are fiction, but it kind of sparks your creativity and how far your mind can go. Your mind can go as far as someone like Joy, like you could do it too. You could create this immersed world, and one day, hopefully, it takes off to a point where there's books like these, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of what the nerd culture, or keeping, a kid, like how you say, keeping your kids like in touch with that nerdy side.
Yes.
You find yourself you find your own sense of like being an individual, an individual too. You know what I mean? Like instead of being like everyone else. I think that's kind of what the nerd culture kind of
it's being your own person.
Exactly. And talking to the people like I said, I've been to one Comic-Con, well, two when I was a kid. I was at San Diego Comic-Con, but I was so young to even understand like the importance of it.
Yeah.
But even go to get invited to the PlayStation experience, and then went to the GameStop convention, then last year's Comic-Con as well. Talking to the people, it's all about individuality. It's all about
whatever makes them
whatever
happy.
makes them, yeah, exactly. Whether it's Pokemon or whether it's Star Wars or whether it's all about finding what you like the most.
Yeah, and
I
a
like
passion
those
for it.
I like those stories where people just like, I like this because of this. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and it, like I said, it's a big group and family thing. I have a friend, one gal that I met at Long Beach Con. She's now coming to practice. She's only here for a couple of months. Her name is Rachel. She told me on Tuesday that when she lived in Georgia, not a lot of people, I hope she's not mad because I'm going to tell this story, but not a lot of people, invited her to things. And she's here, she's part of Star Wars, and people are asking her to go to all these places and do things with her. And I thought, you know what, this is what we're all about.
Yeah.
This is what we're all about. And I really, really, I was touched by that story because I thought, you know what, that's how I feel. People look at me when I first started the group like, oh, well, you want to be involved in this? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, I do. There's a nerdy side to me, too.
Yeah. And they're not knowing that on the outside.
Yeah, because sometimes you look at someone and you think, oh, no, this person can't be.
Absolutely.
There's no stereotype with it. We're all over the place.
Yeah, and that's what I love about not just Star Wars fans and the Star Wars world, just about being a if you want to say a geek nerd or that side of the spectrum. That's what I appreciate because you could be anyone.
Yeah,
CEO
it doesn't matter.
Of a Fortune 500 company by day, Obi-Wan Kenobi by night.
That's right. How sexy is that?
So I mean, I really appreciate that about, and I'm gonna say like our culture.
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't matter. There's no color. There's no stigma. There's
no, and there shouldn't be, and there isn't. There really isn't, and that's what I love about it. Mm-hmm. All right, so next week is going to be a very busy week, so we've got to pick something.
Next week, next week. Well, we won't be having Comic-Con. It won't be next week.
No, it won't be
we'll
until...
have a show before then, huh?
Right.
We're going to do what we're looking forward to for Comic-Con. I'm going to let you pick, because I picked two in a row.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to be prepping for Comic-Con, though.
Yeah, we'll be prepping for it. I mean, I've got a lot going on, but I'm trying to think. We've done just about everything, and I had a list that I made.
So you did? Yeah. Bring out the list.
Let's bring out the list.
But Matt Studios will be doing live. We're going to try to do live interviews and try to get them streaming live. But we will be doing interviews at Comic-Con LA. So
okay, we've done sabers, we've done Mandos, we've done food. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Let's see.
Oh yeah, there's pages.
Yes, favorite costume, favorite book. We've done favorite book. It's really. Hey, let's do which one we like. Sith, Rule of Two, Darth, Sith Lord, Count.
Oh,
which do you prefer?
Oh, okay.
So let's go to the dark side since it is Halloween.
It is Halloween, yeah. Right.
So let's go to the dark side. So we're gonna, so we're gonna pick. If you could be like a Sith, what kind of Sith would you be? Would you like to be like a Sith Lord, a Darth? Because I believe there's a difference.
Yeah,
an acolyte.
Yeah.
Or Count.
Oh man, a Count is very.
And I don't mean Count Dracula.
No. But Count Dooku is a Dracula-ish type of.
Yes.
Kind of. So yeah.
Yes, he was more like the original Dracula.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Bela Lugosi kind
Bela
of.
Lugosi. Yeah. Oh wow, jeez. That's for you people who don't watch AMC.
Yeah. There's actually a song from a band that I really, really loved. And it was called Bela Lugosi's Dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really a cool song. All right, well, that's going to do it for us this week. Please catch us on YouTube and Facebook at, I can't even think here, Radio Geonosis at 2.0 on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Please catch us on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Please. We're on Instagram. We are on Twitter.
Also tweet us. Make sure you
tweet us. Yes, Castbox.
Yeah.
And we are also on iTunes.
Yeah.
So from us here at Radio Geonosis, we'll see you next time.
Later, guys.